Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about body recomposition, since it seems like this question comes up very often. I think I've answered it 3 times this week already. So, nutrition is a huge, complex topic, but for almost everyone, it doesn't have to be that complicated to manage it for yourself. Since this is the POG vlog, we'll focus on how this applies to masters, but really there isn't much of a difference in approach or application. Being a masters athlete isn't a condition, you're still a normal person, and the concepts that apply to a 20-year-old apply to you as well. If you only remember one thing from this video, remember this. If you want to change your body's composition, you must change your diet's composition. Normally, I would say you must change your lifestyle's composition because what you eat and what you do determines the environment your body exists in. And we all know that bodies adapt to their environments. But everyone here already trains properly, so let's focus on the diet aspects of this environment. And by the way, your diet is your long term eating habits, not some smoothie cleanse you go on for a month to lose 4 pounds. There are no shortcuts in life, and for nutrition, this is especially true. The moment you go back to your normal eating habits, your normal body composition will return, which means that diet was a waste of time, a waste of money, and a waste of willpower. The idea of dieting is frankly stupid because it just doesn't work, so delete it from your vocabulary. Okay, let's get some basics out of the way. Your body consumes a certain amount of calories every day, depending on how much food you have to digest, how much tissue you have to maintain and repair, staying alive. This is your basal metabolic rate, what your body needs to stay alive at rest. On top of this, moving around consumes calories as well. So your basal metabolic rate plus your total physical activity for the day adds up to the total calories used that day. So if you want to lose weight, you have to eat less calories than that amount or be in a calorie deficit. If you want to gain weight, you have to eat more calories than that amount or be in a calorie surplus. This is always true, no matter what. It's that simple. But it's not that simple, is it? We don't want to gain just any weight. We want to gain muscle and bone density. And we don't want to lose just any weight. We want to lose body fat. Unfortunately, it will always be a combination of muscle and fat that's gained or lost when our body weight changes. But we can skew those percentages in our favor, once again, by skewing the makeup of our diet to something more appropriate. I like to think of diets in terms of 5 main ingredients: water, protein, fiber, fats, and carbohydrates. I put them in this order for a specific reason as well. Essentially, they're in order of priority. I'm sure most people have had the experience of eating potato chips or pizza, cookies, pasta, cereal, granola, that sort of thing. And despite being physically full, still feeling ravenously hungry. Shouldn't our bodies be better at keeping us from overeating? I've never seen a overweight hyena or giraffe, and despite it being 2020, they still don't have access to accurate food scales. So, what's going on here? Are humans just broken creatures that don't work right? Your body is telling you it's still hungry because it is, for different foods. Our mainstream Western diet is basically in the reverse order of priority of the list I just gave, which is where the dysfunction comes in. Your body continues to send hunger signals, hoping that eventually you'll try a different food. When you eventually eat the food it needs, that hunger will turn off like a switch, which is supposed to be an aha moment where you realize that next time you should eat that food first. Unfortunately, modern humans have access to unlimited food, and we dumbly keep shoveling in the same thing until we get nauseous from our blood sugar being too high. So, before we talk about discrete numbers for a particular person's diet plan, it's important to change this dysfunctional approach to eating. Your body will do a much better job at autoregulation if you stick to this checklist for every meal. When you're feeling hungry, Drink some water, at least 16 ounces or so. Sometimes you're not really that hungry, you're just thirsty. This isn't to trick your body into thinking it's full or anything like that. You just might be thirsty. And if you don't have a good habit in place of drinking enough water during the day, this can help with that. If you're still hungry, eat lean protein, a generous fist-sized amount, 40 or 50 grams of it. Still hungry? Eat leafy green vegetables, about twice the volume as the protein you just ate. This is your fiber, as well as all the vitamins and minerals you need to stay perfectly healthy. If you've made it this far, now is the appropriate time to eat carbs and fats. Without worrying about specific grams and calories, sticking to this checklist will take a lot of the management out of a sustainable diet. Now let's talk about some specific numbers. For water, multiply your total calorie intake by 0.05. This will give you a rough estimate of the ounces you should be drinking per day. For example, if you're eating 2,000 calories per day, multiplying that by 0.05 gives you 100 ounces. Remember, this includes all fluids you ingest, but obviously a majority of those fluids should be plain old water. For protein, you should be eating 1.1 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So for a 130-pound woman, you should be eating about 143 grams of protein per day. Yes, I realize this figure probably sounds astronomical, but trust me, part of the reason seniors lose so much muscle mass in modern times is because of the lack of dietary protein to sustain that muscle mass. So our body adapts as best it can in a way that doesn't help us stay independent, unfortunately. Also, as humans age, they become less sensitive to dietary protein, meaning it takes more protein to get the same muscle building response from the body that a younger person would get from less protein in their diet. So, masters need a little more to make up for that. For fiber, don't worry about specific numbers. Eat twice the volume of your meat portion in leafy greens when possible. This comes out to about the size of 2 fists. For meals where eating a bunch of greens isn't practical, choose carb sources that are high in fiber like whole fruits. For fats, you need at least 0.3 grams per pound of body weight. This is to make sure you have enough fat in your diet to support normal hormone production and to absorb fat-soluble vitamins. You've likely already eaten some fat with the protein that you just ate, so you might not have much room left in this minimum figure. You can eat more than this minimum, since fat can be burned for energy as well as carbs can, but keep it under 30% of your total caloric intake, at least. I like to leave it at about 80 grams per day and not have to adjust it at all. For carbohydrates, just fill the remainder of your total calories with carbs, and make sure you're eating a majority of them about an hour before you train. Simple as that. After eating a certain amount of total calories for a week or two, see if you've lost weight, gained weight, or stayed the same. If you're heading in the right direction for your goals, keep doing what you're doing. If not, adjust the total calories up or down by 300 or 400 calories and see what your progress is in another couple weeks. The beauty of this approach is that you just have to adjust your carbohydrate intake up or down with calorie changes. Everything else stays the same. How many total calories do you need? Track what you're eating now without any changes and add up those average calories. And be honest. That will give you an honest starting point and a good guess of where to begin your changes. That's about all the information you need to make a great diet plan. The only other thing I'll say is try to eat single ingredient whole foods, meaning an apple is one ingredient, but applesauce has a list of ingredients in it. Another good rule is the shorter the shelf life, the better. Preservatives prevent food from decaying because they discourage bacteria from digesting it, right? Well, bacteria digest your food for you in your gut. So maybe Twinkies and Cheez-Its, which have an indefinite shelf life, aren't the best foods to build your body with, you know? Think about that. You can't build a brick house with a whole bunch of wood. I hope this was helpful. Leave a comment if you have any more questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. Take care of yourselves.